Thank you. We want to take this opportunity today. We're so pleased to have our marketing chair, Howard Perry, here to give us an outline of what he does as marketing chair and to talk to us about what does African American History Month mean to him.
Okay, my name is Howard Perry, and I'm wearing my mask because my teeth are messed up. All right, so don't be tripping. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm the marketing chairman for the 100 Black Men of Long Beach. I've been doing this for 10 years. I'm responsible for the Facebook, Instagram, Google My Business page. I mean, we've got so many pages. So my mission is to get the vision out there of the 100 Black Men of Long Beach. And our vision is based on a growth mindset for our young men, health and wellness, communication to the community by our committee chairman, Mr. Eric Burrows, government relations with Chris Wilson, education with Damon Cagnati, and more. We have more than that, but it's all vision to help the community. And our president is outstanding, Dr. Lance Robert. We have Vice President, the legend, Mr. Saphir. And we have a bunch of other members that are doing great things in our community. What Black History means to me is that it's a stop sign. It says, Black people, we're important. And it makes other people realize that we're important because we can showcase what we do. And I learn a lot every Black History Month that I've been involved in, especially with artists, music. We had the Pan African American movie here in Long Beach. I mean, not Long Beach, LA Festival. And it just makes the world sit up and say, hey, Black people are important. And it's not that, we're racial, it's just that we need to be empowered. And a lot of times we're overlooked. And Black history to me is just that important. I love it. I love it sharing. And we just did the first time Long Beach Black Restaurant Week, and that was tremendous brand awareness for Black restaurants. So we look forward to doing that continuously. We were the sponsors of it. We were the only Black organization that sponsored the event, but we were glad that we did. And we're glad to get exposure for the restaurants because we got a lot of great restaurants here in Long Beach that I don't even know. I lived in Long Beach for 20 years and some of them I never even knew that they existed. So we have to see, the thing is this is that we have to support those kind of activities. We got to buy from each other. That's strictly economics, right? We have to support each other. That's part of the vision, right? We have to help our children, and that's why we have our growth mindset mentoring program for young men, 8 to 18, because we teach them a growth mindset. There's something that they can never learn in school. And the good thing about that, when it comes to us, there's an extra little element that we have that nobody else can give them. We have love for our brothers. And that love makes a difference because the young men will listen to us as we tell them things that help their future. So we are blessed with that. And so let me see.
Let me ask you
Yes,
this.
go ahead.
How do the 100 Black Men Mentoring Program educate the young men so they will listen to what's been given to them?
Well, something that's interesting because we start off, and this is my thing. We start off every session with a mantra, affirmation, and it essentially says, "Black men, who are we?" And we say we're doctors, lawyers, accountants, entrepreneurs. We make the list everything, we make them repeat it. And sometimes we make them put them hand over their heart to make sure that they're feeling this. And then we go into another part that says, I am born to win. And the end part of that is, I will keep on trying until I succeed. And it's funny because if you keep on repeating that every time for over the years, they start repeating it back to me. So I know we made our point, and then Dr. Lawrence is telling them how to function in school. He tells them SLANT, and I forgot what the acronym stands for, but it has to do with essentially with how you sit in the classroom. You sit in front, you keep your eyes on the teacher, you track the teacher as they walk by, right? So they can know that you're paying attention and that you want to win. That's the last word I would say. And that's very important because when we started, right? Man, I'll tell you, we just wanted to get them out of high school. That was the biggest thing. Because so many black men would not graduate from high school. Then all of a sudden, these kids start going to college. And so we had a different paradigm, right? And we had one gentleman that I know for sure, he was the first one in his family to go to college. And we helped him with a scholarship. Now, that first crop of young men, because we started back in 2008, they're in the military, Fortune 500 companies. One is a hospital administrator. That's fascinating because when we met him, he wanted to be a doctor, but he evolved, and so that he would be better fit to help the community by being an administrator.
So let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
What made you to want to be involved with one, the 100, and two, the 100 mentoring program? Go dig.
No,
I want to hear your internal desires. Share that with us.
I'm going to tell you exactly why. So I was in the Navy back in the 70s, right? Right after Vietnam, like 77 or something like that. And I was rebellious, right? Because, it's just me. But I was in electronics. And I thought to myself that there would be other brothers in electronics that would come to me. And I don't know, I was being rebellious. But then one day, this one of these white guys, because we lived with each other and we were friends, and he was old, and he said, you know something? You have to be the one to teach. You have to learn, and then you teach the others. And then I went back to way back when to like Malcolm X, each one teach one. And in my community in St. Croix, we had a program called UCA, United Caribbean Association. And we were learning from each other. And I was like, I used to call me young blood, right? So young blood, you gotta listen to what we gotta say. So I grew up in a place where we respect for people older than me. And so they said young blood, I was like, okay, all right, that means I'm not acting right. So that was the genesis for when I started. But then I went to, I started working for Xerox, which is one of the biggest companies in the world at this time, and one of the most innovative. And I learned a lot. And I said to myself, once I get the opportunity, I would teach others. And it's funny how things work, right? Because I eventually end up, after 15 years, during the 15 years with Xerox, they sent me here to LA, right? And I worked with Xerox, and then I worked for a couple of internet companies. And the internet companies kind of crashed and burned. And then I ran into the 100. Actually ran into Jesse Johnson. And so I saw that he was trying to put things together for, at the time, it was black companies. But then he started 100 Black Men of Long Beach. And I was thinking, wow, that's interesting. Because going back a little step, my pastor in my church had assigned me and Lance Robert to be mentors. Started a mentoring program. It was called ROPE. Rights of Passage and Empowerment, right? And so we did that for about 5 years. Then the 100 started, and they said they got a mentoring program. So we kind of took our ship from the church to the 100, right? And because the good thing about Lance is that me and him, we have the same kind of spirit, but we're yin and yang, right? And my emphasis is on mindset. That's my thing. And he agrees with me because how we start with the mindset thing is I went to a national mentoring convention, and they mentioned the work by Carol Dweck, DWECK. And what she did is the government had hired her to figure out what's going on at West Point, because at West Point, they bring in all the most, according to the reports, whatever, the top students in the country, right, to go to this academy for the Army. And they couldn't figure out why some were failing and some were succeeding. So they hired Carol Dweck, which she was a professor at Stanford University. You can look her up. And she just frontiered the difference between the successful and unsuccessful was grit, resilience, perseverance. Because some of the kids that came in at a lower score to the academy rose to the top because they had more grit. They have more resilience. See the things what we talk about? Is that if you fall down, get up. Stay in the race. The race ain't done yet. You know what I mean? So that's my heart, because that's the way I am. I've been through a lot. I'm resilient. Mr. Ahmed's been through a lot. He's resilient. Dr. Lance has been through a lot. He's resilient. So the thing is, as black men talking to black kids, we're talking to them on the real tip because we've already experienced what they're going through. And then we can tell them how to avoid the minefields. That's why I look at stuff like that as minefields. Because for young black men, unfortunately, in the school system and every system area, they as soon as they enter the door, the teachers think they're going to be a problem, right? Now, as they go on and they manifest that same behavior that the teacher expects, they're going to try to get them into the classroom. But if we go back and use the methods that we learned from Dr. Lance, Dr. Robert, on tracking the teacher, sitting down close to the front, taking notes, they will have success because it's proven. I would say 90% of all the young men that's been in our program for over 5 years, even 95%, graduated from high school, and a big portion of them end up in college. We lost track of them, so many of them. Then in the military, we got professional baseball players. We got everything. We got
military.
We got nurses. We got entrepreneurs. We got 12-year-olds right now that have their own little companies. And it's funny when I talk to these young guys, they talk about, oh, Mr. Perry, we gotta get you on my schedule. I'm like, what schedule? I started knowing you from when you was like 7, 8 years old. Come on, man.
Let me ask you this. you mentioned, and you mentioned it a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
You said they learn to sit in the front row,
Mm-hmm.
and they track the teacher
Mm-hmm.
so she knows they're paying attention.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which is more valuable? They're tracking the teacher so she knows they're paying attention, or they're tracking the teacher so that they learn more from the teacher.
No, it's more important that they it's a combination, actually, to tell you the truth, right? It's valuable to be in front because you're not scared to ask questions. When you're in the back, you have a tendency not to. It's peer pressure not to ask questions, right? And I'll tell you, I know from my own experience, almost every time I ask a question in the class, the kids are writing on the answer because they didn't understand it either.
Right.
Because when you ask a question, you ask it for. What I tell the kids, I said the word that you should use for your teachers is "I need clarification on what you just said." It's not that I don't understand what you said. I need clarity because you didn't really explain it in a way that I could consume it. I need to be able to translate it back to somebody. Or as Dr. Lance would have you say, you gotta come back to somebody with an example. Because once you get some example, that means you really know what the discussion is all about. So I think that's important. Now the tracking thing is more because of the legacy of stereotype of young black men.
Now, let me ask you this. Obviously, from our discussion, you have stood on the shoulder of giants.
Yes, sir.
I consider you a progress maker.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
How are your shoulders available for others to stand on?
Well, right now, with a marketing committee, I'm on Facebook every day sharing information. Every day. Seriously, every day I'm posting something. So I'm always researching information that I think will be important to the black community. I also put on our Facebook page a lot of opportunities for training. And it's crazy, because when you on Facebook as a manager, you can see how many people look at a specific type of post, right? And anytime I have a post on there, like this free training from Google to get certificate for cyber security, there's Facebook free training, so you could be identified as a Facebook manager. All these things make money, and nobody ever cuts on those. Nobody ever. So that's kind of difficult, but I keep on putting it out there. And then on my shoulders really is I love the mentoring program. Our growth mindset mentoring program. I've been doing it since 2008. I always look forward to doing it. I learned a lot from the kids too. Like I learned Sudoku from one of the young men. I just could never figure out how to do it. So I learned from Dr. Lance too. I learned from Mr. Safir. It's a learning academy, and it's better when it's live. So right now we're doing it virtually, and the guys are doing a great job. We have a financial literacy program going on. We just finished a coding program a couple of months ago. So we're not letting the environment affect us. My preference is the academy, because that way you can get input from all the older guys, right? So that's how they fit on my shoulders. I give them everything I got. I don't hold back anything.
Well, thank you, Mr. Howard Perry. We got to go to a commercial break now.
Yeah,
and we're not going to hold you over.
He means I'm talking too long.
No, we've been at it quite a while. We appreciate you.
I love you, man.
The marketing chair,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Howard Perry.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you very much for coming here today and sharing your valuable time with us.
Man, being interviewed by a legend is a great thing, brother.